Welcome to our myth-busting journey. Today, we're shattering 6 of the most stubborn facts we've all heard a million times. Think you only use 10% of your brain? That cracking your knuckles causes arthritis? Or that carrots will give you night vision? Well, buckle in. We'll even tackle the idea that bulls hate red, that goldfish can't remember more than 3 seconds, and whether stepping outside in the cold will give you the sniffles. Let's dive in, starting with one of the most brain-bending myths of all. Myth number 1, 10% brain use. You've probably heard it in movies, TV, even from motivational speakers. Humans only use 10% of their brain. Sounds dramatic and wildly false. Brain imaging shows activity across every part of the brain, even when we rest. The 10% figure? Likely a misinterpretation of early neurological research. Every part of your brain has a role, from controlling movement to processing memories and emotions. So no, unlocking your unused brain won't turn you into a superhero, though learning new things will keep your brain sharp. In reality, every part of your brain has a function. Studies of stroke victims or people with brain injuries show that damage to even a tiny area can cause very specific problems, like losing your words, your memory, or the ability to wiggle your toes on command. If 90% of our brains were truly inactive, losing just a sliver of the active part wouldn't matter. But in fact, it would be catastrophic. This proves that our brains are busy bees all the time. If we really used just 10%, we'd probably forget our own birthdays every single year. Myth number 2, knuckle cracking and arthritis. That satisfying pop when you crack your knuckles? It's not your joints grinding. It's tiny bubbles in the synovial fluid bursting. Multiple studies, including long-term experiments, show no link between habitual knuckle cracking and arthritis. Worst case, you might annoy people nearby. The myth probably came from the unsettling sound and assumptions about joint health. So, keep popping if you like, just don't do it during quiet meetings. Myth number 3, carrots and night vision. Carrots are rich in beta-carotene, which your body converts to vitamin A, essential for healthy vision. But unless you're deficient, eating more won't turn you into a nocturnal animal. This myth actually took off during World War II, when the British Air Ministry claimed their pilots could see in the dark thanks to carrots. A cover story to hide their new radar tech. Clever, but biologically inaccurate. Severe vitamin A deficiency is the leading cause of preventable childhood blindness in some regions. So carrots are important, just not Marvel level. If carrots gave you night vision, Bugs Bunny would be Batman. Myth number 4, bulls hate red. You've seen it in cartoons and bullfights. The matador waves a red cape, and the bull charges. But here's the twist. Bulls are actually colorblind to red. What gets them riled up isn't the color at all, it's the movement. The red cape, or muleta, is just tradition. In fact, wave any color fabric in front of a bull with the same dramatic flair, and you'll get the same reaction. So the next time someone says like a red rag to a bull, you'll know it's more about motion than hue. In a 2007 Mythbusters experiment, a bull charged its stationary flags of red, blue, and white with equal intensity, and even ignored a person dressed in red when cowboys moved around. This shows that it's the movement, not the color, that triggers a bull's charge. Basically, bulls are more annoyed by TikTok dancers than by a particular paint swatch. Myth number 5, goldfish memory span. Poor goldfish. They've been branded as forgetful little creatures with a so-called 3-second memory. In reality, they can remember things for months. Studies have trained goldfish to respond to sounds, navigate mazes, and recognize feeding schedules. That takes way more than a few fleeting moments. So yes, your fish probably does remember that time you forgot to feed it, and it may even be silently judging you for it. Carp, goldfish's close relatives, are often used in cognitive animal studies due to their reliable memory. For instance, a study documented common carp learning the location of newly introduced food in a lake, demonstrating their ability to remember and adapt to their environment. So, if your goldfish stares blankly, it's not amnesia, it's judgment. Myth number 6, Cold weather makes you sick. Ever been told to bundle up or you'll catch a cold? The truth is, colds are caused by viruses, not chilly air. But here's where the myth clings on. Cold weather can play an indirect role. In winter, people spend more time indoors with less ventilation, giving viruses the perfect environment to spread. And some studies suggest that lower temperatures might make our nasal passages slightly more vulnerable to infection. Still, you're more likely to get sick from close contact with an infected person than from stepping outside without a scarf. While stepping outside in the cold might make you feel chilly, any temporary immune suppression from prolonged exposure is minimal compared to the risk of directly catching a virus from someone who's sick. Cold weather alone won't give you the sniffles. If winter alone caused colds, penguins would have the worst health insurance premiums. So there you have it, 6 myths, busted wide open and scent packing. Around here on Debunked. Or are they? We don't just bust myths, we give them a full-blown exit interview. And hey, myths have a sneaky way of hanging around. Kind of like that one friend who keeps telling the same story about their wild weekend from 3 years ago. You smile, you nod, but deep down, you know the real version is way better. That's the fun part, turning I heard into here's what's actually going on, without draining the joy out of the tale. Facts challenged. Minds opened. Myths exposed or cleverly defended. This is Debunked. Or are they? You decide. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and keep a mental drawer ready for the next half-truth that needs some gentle but glorious dismantling.